Kia ora. Welcome to Pacific WorldWide News, broadcasting this postcard back to the U.S. from Wellington, New Zealand.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Derek.
Tonight, we find out what it's like to face the famous Kamate dance, or haka. A haka is a dance in which the whole body moves to impart meaning, and Kamate is the best known of all Maori haka. A famous chief called Te Raparaha, when pursued by his enemies, was hidden in a kumara, or sweet potato pit, by the remarkably hairy chief of a friendly tribe. The wife of the chief sat in front of the entrance to the pit, hiding him. As Te Raparaha sat in darkness, waiting for his enemies to go away, he whispered to himself, "I may die, I may die, I may live, I may live." When his pursuers had gone, he climbed from the pit and joyfully declared, "This is the hairy man who fetched the sun and caused it to shine again. One step upward, another step upward, the sun shines." This traditional dance has since passed through generations and is famously used by the national rugby team, the All Blacks, before the beginning of a game. So what is it like to face such a performance? And we now go over to our reporter Juliana, who is with the United States rugby team, who are just about to face the Kamate haka.
Thanks, Casey. I'm trackside with the U.S. team about to play the All Blacks as part of the 2011 Rugby World Cup. And here comes the haka now.
Very good job.
Mark from the U.S. team.
That was very weird and not intimidating at all.
All right, well, how did that make your team feel? Zach from the All Blacks team?
You know, it amps us up. It helps us, get focused and everything.
Okay. What sort of impact psychologically does this have on your players?
Chants like that shows us that that those chants will not get into our head and that we will play even better.
And how does this affect your team psychologically?
Well, we just have to remember who we're playing for in our country, and we have to win for New Zealand.
Okay. So do you think that the U.S. team will win the World Cup?
Of course I do. We've been training for a really long time, and we're really ready to take down the All Blacks.
And do you think that the All Blacks will win the World Cup?
I mean, of course we will. We're a great team, and we play hard.
So if you win this World Cup, how will you celebrate?
We're going to go to the pubs, we're going to party, we're going to drink some beer, and we're just going to celebrate our championship. Go USA!
And how will the All Blacks be celebrating if they win?
We party hard in New Zealand, so who knows what we'll be doing.
All right, well, thanks so much for this interview. Now I'd better get off the field as I think they're about to kick off. I'm Juliana for the Pacific WorldWide News. Back to you, Derek.
Thanks, Juliana. Now let's take a look at the controversial issue that has the locals divided and is annoying the good folks of Hollywood. Wellington is New Zealand's capital city and has everything you would ever want in one compact, windswept area. It also calls itself, or has been referred to as, Wellywood, on account of its modest input into the world of film. It is the home of the world-famous Weta production company, responsible for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, District 9, and Avatar, as well as upcoming features like The Hobbit and Tintin. All well and good, but the fact is, does the city need to celebrate its success in the world of entertainment by putting a large white Wellywood sign in the style of the world-famous Hollywood sign on one of its hillsides? Some say yes, over 7,500 Facebook users, and some Hollywood executives who say it is a breach of copyright say no. Is there a better way to promote and celebrate Wellington's international reputation and success? Or if there must be a large sign on a hillside, could it possibly say something else? To discuss these matters and some alternatives, we go now to our entertainment reporter, Megan.
Thanks, Derek. I'm Megan, and here with me now is a spokesperson from the Wellington Airport, Michael Finnegan, and top Hollywood honcho, Bethany. So, my first question is for you, airport spokesperson Michael Finnegan. Why the sign? What do you think it will do for the city?
It's going to bring more Hollywood honchos, such as our sweet Bethany here.
Oh, all right, Bethany. So, what's the reaction to the sign in Hollywood?
We don't like it at all. They need to come up with something of their own and not copy what we have.
What other suggestions have there been instead of Wellywood?
Well, I've heard Weeniewood, but I don't really like that one because Willywood is such a sweet-ass name.
Sweet as. So, Bethany, would you ever go see the Wellywood sign?
No, I would never go see that ridiculous sign.
All right, well, how about we just don't have a sign? I'm Megan for the Pacific Worldwide News. Back to you, Casey, in the studio.
Thanks, Megan. And now a look at the Kiwi language. With the Rugby World Cup hosted by New Zealand in just under 100 days' time, we try to unpack the mumbly, occasionally mystifying language that the locals here have created out of English. When tourists arrive in New Zealand, one of the first things they notice is that even though everybody might be speaking English, they can't understand a word the locals are saying. There's a lot of unique phrases used here in New Zealand, such as the all-purpose sweet as or the inexplicable chur. Along with this is an interesting vowel structure which seems to put a U into every word so that common phrases such as fish and chips, a local delicacy, becomes fush and chups. New Zealander ladies also tend to say everything with a rising intonation, even midway through a sentence so that everything sounds like a question, which is disconcerting because tourists often try to answer what a Kiwi will be saying even though it's not a question. Meanwhile, the New Zealand male would tend to start a sentence strongly, then trail away to a mumble after just one or two words. Add to this the inclusion of phrases incorporated from the Maori language, such as tumeke, meaning too much, or kai, meaning food, just confuses things even more. We go now over to our language guide Says, who is with a couple of Kiwis and is trying to unravel what they're saying in conversation. Kia ora says, how's it?
Kia ora and how's it? Sweet as. I have a couple of fellas here who are representing New Zealand as New Zealanders. So we have on my right, what is your name, sir?
Airhead McGee.
Airhead McGee. And?
Ian.
So, these smart young men are going to be enlightening me on different slang in New Zealand. So the first one we have is sweet as. Now, I don't really know what that means. Can you guys maybe explain?
It's like sweet as sugar, dude.
Oh.
Like sweet as, that's cool.
Oh. Yeah, no. Then we have another, there's another phrase that I've heard in the street. It's choice. Now, I don't know if you're trying to make decision. Maybe making decisions is hard. I don't know. Is it?
No.
What does choice mean?
What?
Something's wrong with your tie. It's kind of wrong. I got all spiffied up and you did wrong.
Oh, okay. So, Kiora. So, this is Says for Pacific Worldwide News. Hopefully, this will be a great guide for Americans traveling to New Zealand. Good luck with the locals. Over to you fellas in the studio.
Bye.
Sweet as to you says. Now we go over to Ian for a look at the weather we can expect up and down this fabulous, gorgeous country. What have you got for us, Ian?
I have a lot of weather for you. That's what I have. Let's have a squiz at the weather. Across Aotearoa, starting in the far north, Keita, look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. In Auckland, there will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There will be no weather at all for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but is expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, their weather will sometimes be changeable, and sometimes not. We really have no idea what will happen there. In Taranaki, a mild depression brings with it a very dull day. With no highlights at all, it'll be overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening. So don't worry. Everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind at all, and the conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Keorka can always expect to have a good day, sunny and calm in idyllic surroundings, except for tomorrow, when you can expect the worst weather ever. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall, sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms, and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold, and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop up for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all for me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Back to you fellows in the studio.
Thank you, Ian. And on that note, we have to call it a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed the show.
Many thanks to each of our guests, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Until then, I'm Casey.
And I'm Derek for Pacific Worldwide News. Goodbye.
Bye.